The first step will be to build the bed cabinet. So you'll need to locate the bed cabinet hardware bag, which will have all of the components and hardware you require. Now you'll need to lay out the bottom stretcher, back apron, and top stretcher on a moving blanket or sheets of cardboard in order to protect your floors and cabinetry. Take one of your Rafix fittings and position it in line with the corresponding hole. Take your rubber mallet and lightly tap the one end in first and then the other until the fitting is properly seated. Continue this process. The back apron will have 9, the back stretcher will have 4, and the top stretcher will have 6 Rafix fittings. Also, you'll need to hammer in 8 Rafix fittings into the backboard. The next step is to screw in the Rafix bolts into the left and right side panels and the top stretcher. Now, get out all the Rafix bolts, and using your Phillips screwdriver, you're going to screw in 11 Rafix bolts into the pre-drilled holes on the left and right side panels, and 5 Rafix bolts into the top stretcher. To speed up the process, it can be helpful to have an extra set of hands. Next, get out the front kick, 2 6-hole metal brackets, and 4 5/8 panhead Robertson screws. Using your power drill and making sure that each bracket is flush with the ends of the front kick, screw in 2 screws through the bracket and into the ends of the front kick on either side. Skip the middle hole of the brackets. Now, measure and mark the locations for where to screw in the front kick on the left side panel. First, measure 1 1/8 from the outside finish edge of the side panel. Next, you'll mark just slightly next to that at 1 7/8. Then, repeat this process on the right side panel, making sure the marks are on the front edge of the panel and not the edge that will be against the wall. Now, get out the aluminum beam support and the 2 metal 4-hole corner brackets. You'll install one of these 4-hole corner brackets at each end of the aluminum beam support. Starting on the right side, insert 2 3/16 by 1/2 inch black flathead Phillips screws through the back of the aluminum beam support and hand tighten a 3/16 nylock hexagon nut onto each screw. Using a Phillips screwdriver and a 3/8 inch wrench or socket wrench, you will tighten the nuts on the corner brackets. Now repeat this process for installing the 4-hole corner bracket on the left side. Next, lay out the front apron panel on your moving blankets or sheets of cardboard. You'll be attaching the aluminum beam support. Be sure that the vertical straight edges of the beam is flush with the unfinished edge of the front apron. Next, ensure that the aluminum beam support is centered along the front apron, evenly spaced on the left and right. Using your power drill and a Robertson drill bit, drill in the 5/8 Robertson panhead wood screws into the 5 holes on the aluminum beam support. Next, lay the top stretcher panel face down on your moving blanket. Note, the 3 Rafix fittings and the 5 Rafix bolts should be facing upwards. Starting on the right-hand side, you'll measure and mark at 1/16 and 2 1/16 from the front finished edge of the top stretcher, as the front apron and aluminum beam support will be attached between these 2 measurements. Then repeat these steps by marking 1/16 and 2 1/16 on the left side. Now, with the curved edge of the aluminum beam support facing upwards, position the front apron between the 2 marked measurements on the top stretcher. Be sure to have the finished edge of the front apron facing outwards. Using your power drill and Robertson drill bit, install 5 of the 5/8 panhead Robertson wood screws into the holes along the aluminum beam support. Now we're going to install the backboard stiffener to the backboard. Lay out the backboard on your moving blanket with 8 Rafix fittings facing upwards. Next, along the finished edges, you'll measure and mark 6 inches in and 3 inches in from the other side. The 6-inch measurement will now be considered the top, and the 3-inch measurement will be considered the bottom. Repeat these measurements at the opposite end of the backboard. Once ready, get out the backboard stiffener and position it between your top and bottom measurements. Next, you'll be installing 10 1 1/4 flathead wood screws into the backboard stiffener using your power drill and a No. 2 Robertson bit. When installing these screws, be sure to stay 1 inch away from all edges. Also, evenly space out the screws along the length of the backboard stiffener. There will be 5 screws drilled along the top edges and 5 screws along the bottom. It is very important not to over-torque these screws as it could damage the face of the backboard panel. Now you're ready to assemble the cabinetry panels, and when doing so, you are going to want to make sure that the finished edges of your panels are facing the ground and the unfinished end of each panel is facing upwards. Arrange and position bed cabinet components as per the following diagram. Make sure that the Rafix fittings on the top stretcher are facing the inside of the cabinet, while ensuring that all of the remaining panels have the Rafix fittings facing upwards, as you don't want any of the Rafix fittings easily visible on the assembled bed cabinet. While standing in the middle of the cabinet, start with the top stretcher and right side panel and position the ends of the board so the bolt slides into the Rafix fittings. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, make sure the Rafix fittings are secured to the Rafix bolts, approximately 1/2 turn clockwise. Now repeat this step on the left side. And now, staying in the middle, continue this process with the back apron and back board and bottom stretcher. Be sure to have your assistant support the weight of these panels, especially the backboard, until you have securely attached both sides. Again, you'll want to ensure that your Rafix fittings on the top stretcher are facing the inside of the cabinet, while ensuring that all remaining panels have the Rafix fittings facing upwards. Now it's time to install the front kick. Please note that it is critical to always have the front kick installed, as it plays an integral role to the stability of the cabinet and prevents the two side panels from bowing out when lowering the bed. If the bed is being installed on a hard surface like hardwood flooring, make sure that the front kick panel is flush with the bottom of the side panels. However, if installed on a carpet, raise the kick so it sits on top of the carpet, but do not exceed 1/4 inch off the floor. While the cabinet is still laying on the ground, you'll also attach the 4-hole corner bracket on the aluminum beam support to the left and right side panels. Using your power drill and a Robertson drill bit, you'll start by installing 2 5/8 Robertson panhead wood screws through the 2 remaining holes in the 4-hole metal corner brackets on the aluminum beam support. Now repeat this step on the other side.